Hello people, I am Sky Demolisher and welcome back for another From the Collection Fridays, a series where I take things from my collection and show it to you, my viewers. And this week we'll be finishing our second week of quarantining in New Zealand, so I hope you're doing okay. Let me know how you're doing. I do care about you all and I hope you're doing well. Now this week the game I'm choosing is basically a card and dice game. A little bit different to last week's one in that it won't take up as much space, and that is Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game. Now this game is out of print from Fantasy Flight Games because they've lost the license to it. Games Workshop took it back. But just like last week, there is a video game like this. Now it's called Space Hulk Tactics, and it is available, as far as I'm aware, on the Xbox One, the PS4 and PC. So you can get it from Steam. Of those three options, the one that I believe is actually the cheapest is Steam, because the Xbox One version is about $40. But you might be like me and use the reward system from Microsoft, so you might actually have enough points to buy it discounted. Now the idea of Space Hulk Death Angel is very much like the board games that have been around for 30 years. You enter into a Space Hulk, you fight alien gene stealers, and then you try to get your ass out of there. The thing is, this game is more brutal than the board game and far more brutal than the computer versions or the video game versions. That's not to say it's not fun. It's just that, like Space Crusade, it has a dice mechanic that can be very easy for you to roll wrong or be betrayed by your die, and then you perish. So basically the game can be played, whoops, just kicked the table, I told you I moved rooms. The game can be played by 1 to 6 players and normally takes 1 to 2 hours. This time around I don't have the back end of the box actually attached to this, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But what you do is, depending on how many people are playing, so this is the void lot for 1 player, and then there's a void lot for 2 or 4 players, 3 or 6 players, or a setup for 5 players. Now these all are important to the start of the game. They give you your starting room, so it shows on the left side what rooms or what locations are required and where they go, and the same thing for the right. How many I suppose the blip tokens are in the starting piles, and then how much your starting like a major spawn or a minor spawn are. So in the case of this one, it's only 2 and 1, which isn't too bad. But when you get to, say, the setup for 6 players, the large spawn is 5 and the minor is 3. And what it spawns, basically those split piles it tells you to do, so those cards said the 6, you would have 6 of these each side. In this case of these ones, I've only got 4, and that's because I'm showing you the different styles of gene stealers and the really cool artwork, which is one of the other benefits of this game. It has really cool artwork on the cards. So that, I would say, is the talons. That is your head gene stealer. A tongue gene stealer, and the last one is what I would call the claw. And basically these are what you are fighting. And the way that you fight them is with your Space Marines. So in the case of these guys, they are the close combat. Actually I believe they are. Both close combat guys. Pretty sure one has like a power fist and the other has lightning claws. So you get different kind of Space Marine teams. So there are guys with close combat weapons, there's a psyker, there are guys with heavy weapons, so like a flamer and an assault cannon. And basically every round you tell them to do something. That something will be from one of these three cards. So it's your move and activate, your attack card, or your support card. And normally if you're supporting, you get a support token like this. And that can help you do rerolls in the game. Now, the mechanic is that you can only use one of those cards per round, and you cannot reuse the same card 2 rounds in a row. So you really have to think of it tactically. I believe in the single player game you start out with 6 Space Marines, and then depending on how many players there are, you fluctuate that. So when you attack with the dice, and generally what you want to do is roll a skull. That means that it will kill one Gene Stealer from a pile, but only if you're facing it. Some of the weapons actually allow you to kill more than one Gene Stealer, and then when it's like the Gene Stealer's turn to attack you, you roll the exact same dice, and what you want to do is roll higher than the amount of Gene Stealers attacking you, because if they roll the same or underneath, you die, and then things move up. So your locations are set out as, say, the ventilation duct, the dark corner, a spore chimney, the door. They've all got a color coding, so it tells you like where things will spawn in cards like this, which you draw pretty much every round. So it tells you there's a major spawn on red and a minor spawn on orange, and then there's like details on the card of what happens. So in this case it's instinct. Choose a Space Marine that has at least one support token if able. Discard one support token from him and one Gene Stealer engaged with him of your choice. And in this corner it also tells you how the Gene Stealers will move depending on this card's draw. So in this one, only Gene Stealers with that mark, so ones like this, will move up or down one level. So they might engage a different Marine. So unlike having, say, Overwatch in the original game, which could really save you, this game can very easily have you overwhelmed, because if the Space Marine on, say, the ventilation duct is killed, and there's no Space Marine below him to move into his spot, then the ventilation duct moves to the next point up, which might mean that it's now connected to the dark corner. So if you pulled this card, then you've just spawned the major spawn and the minor spawn at the same time on those locations. So according to the Void Lock, that for the single player game at least, that's 3 new Gene Stealers on you. But like I mentioned, for the 3 or 6 player game, that's a major of 5 and a minor of 3. So that means that 8 Gene Stealers, if possible, have just spawned on you. So you can very easily get overwhelmed, because the die goes from 0 to 5, not 1 to 6. So a spawn like that, it's virtually instant death, unless you get to attack them first and you've got someone with like a heavy weapon that can actually decimate a lot of them. in one go. So I hope you found that interesting. I know it's a little different doing videos on like games as opposed to other things that I collect, but I just figured that it's a good idea to cover these sort of things because the 4 weeks is a minimum. We could go into this a lot longer, and you might have the opportunity to find some of these things or just want to pick up the video games. So until next time, please take care of yourselves. Bye.